we talked about how situation is everything, and last year it looked like Julius Randle was in this perfect situation with the Knicks. He averaged 24, 10, and 6, and now this year everything's been going bad. Right now he's averaging close to 19. He's shooting his worst field goal percentage of his career, averaging his lowest points per game since 2017. Tom Thibodeau has been heavily criticized for his lackluster rotations. And since I'm a Knicks fan, I'll just go first. The question is, who's more to blame, Julius Randle or Tom Thibodeau? I think taking the easy way out, I would say Randle because he's regressed so much. But Tom Thibodeau, it's just from the beginning of the season, right up until he benched Kemba, we knew the starters were one of the worst starting fives in the NBA. And we're 40-plus games into the season, and Thibodeau is running out the same starting lineup versus the Heat the other night. Our starters are flat. We bring in our bench with Grimes, Obi, and IQ. We cut down the lead. And Thibodeau doesn't hold the starters accountable, rolls them out again, and then we get smoked. From the start of the season, our bench has been one of the best bench units, plus-minus wise, and our starters have been horrifically bad. I feel like Thibodeau deserves more blame than Randle for his lackluster rotations, for not holding players accountable. Randle's playing like garbage. Sit him. Give Obi those minutes. He's playing better.
Stop.
What do you mean, stop?
You can't. You're going to sit the guy who you just gave 140
He's talking about, so what do you mean?
I don't care if Randle is 2 for 14 from the field. Yeah, you're sitting, bro. Obi right now is playing better than you.
If that happens, Thibodeau's fired immediately.
Why?
Because the head office is the one that gave him that money.
Drew, who else is there to sign right now?
I'm not saying you're wrong, but last season, listen, did you have a choice to sign him? No. Ultimately, you're saying that you want to sit this guy who, one, was the primary reason y'all had the success that you did last year.
And he's the primary reason we suck right now.
I wholeheartedly agree. But how can you sit him when he's getting that type of money? It's impossible.
It doesn't. I'm not saying bench him. I'm saying if we're in the game, he's 1 for 14. He's played 16 minutes. Obi right here is only logged in forward, and in his 4, he looks way better. Obi, you're finishing out this game. Randle, you're
Different
not.
Situation. Okay.
I got to take.
Only a couple coaches who can get away with that.
You see what? All right, HP. You see what I'm saying? Like,
I get it. I get it because I'm trying to think of like what's something the equivalent of like that. That's like people saying we need to sit Russell Westbrook and bring him off the bench. You've paid him too much money to where somebody's getting fired if he comes off the bench. Unless he comes out and says, I'm agreeing to it, then you're getting fired. Do I think Julius Randle has been playing trash? For sure he's been playing trash, but I think a lot of times coaches like have their hands tied behind their back because y'all made the mistake of believing that he is the guy.
I didn't. I never thought Julius was the guy.
Pull out your Julius Randle jersey right now.
I bought it because it was a special season.
You got a Julius Randle jersey?
It was a special season last year. Absolutely.
Hey, yo, you deserve a nasty award. You deserve a nasty award, bro. You really got a Julius Randle jersey.
The reason I justified my purchase because of this. I bought it last year. He was averaging 24, 11, and 6. He was an all-NBA player. I said, you know what? Even if this year's a fluke year, it's justified because he's the reason why the Knicks made the playoffs for the first time in 8 seasons. So, am I sure that RJ is going to be on the team long term? I don't know. We're always having him in these trade rumors. Right now, the next name up is Donovan Mitchell. If we trade for Donovan, RJ's gone. That's a fact. So I don't want to buy a player on the Knicks jersey that I feel like is not going to be there long term. And between RJ and Julius last year, who meant more to the team, who was the reason why we made the playoffs, easily. It was Randle. So and it was also a great jersey. It was a statement edition. It's very fly. So I bought it, but I don't regret my purchase. You should have bought this. No.
You should have bought this.
No.
That's man. You deserve a nasty award.
This season, this is from Ariel Pacheco on Twitter. He does a lot of Knicks stuff. Evan Fournier has played 1,346 minutes this year. 1,243 of those have come with Julius on the court. Kemba has played 744 minutes this year. 701 of those has been with Julius. Kemba and Evan together only have 14 minutes together on the court without Julius, and they have a net rating of like 38.6.
All right. Listen, I get it. It's easy to blame Thibodeau. Listen, we had Thibodeau. He was great for Chicago. Great, incredible. So we had Thibodeau, right? Thibodeau is probably one of, and he's under the Doc Rivers tree. He's one of the most stubborn coaches in the NBA. He sticks to what he knows. He feels like it's his plan or we die. You guys are dying, like bad. Right now, you are dying. Like you guys aren't good. Now, has his rotations been bad? Yeah. Has he given too much minutes to certain guys? Of course. But SJ, you played college ball. Let me throw you a scenario. Let me just quickly throw you a little scenario. You're a head coach, right?
Right. I got a big head.
You've given a player, of opportunity to come in here and be your star. This star's name is Andrew, right? He comes in first year, he plays bad. The next year, he has an all NBA year. He propels you to the playoffs. And then the next year, he comes back and he stinks. The energy is gone. The offensive output isn't there. Is that your fault, or is that the lack of work he put in to get better?
Fact, I agree.
I'll say two things, which kind of goes right back into your point. The first thing I'll say is this: is it my fault that he's playing bad? No, it's not. That's on him. But what I'll also say is this, which comes back to the difference between coaching levels. At some point, I'm going to try to find a way to put Julius in a better situation to get the job done. I'm going to try to make adjustments at some point in the season and say, you know what? He's not shooting the ball, well from the 3-point line. Let me try to get some action and get him going to the rim, get him going downhill. Let me try to find a way to clear out one side and let him post up. Let me find a way to get my star into the game, because I know that if he's my star, we can only go as far as he takes us. So he is top priority to make sure he's going at all times and try to get everybody on board with that. So it still comes back to
which goes back to my point. Like both of these guys, and I'm not the front office doesn't deserve any blame. I feel like they did what they needed to do to feel like to put the proper pieces on the court for this team to succeed. I felt like at first Fournier was a good signing. He's a 3-point shooter that offers some spacing. Kemba Walker, they tried, they gambled on him. The contract isn't bad, so that's fine. I feel like they did what they needed to do. So the front office, to me, they maybe get 10% of the blame just because they're the front office. But Thibodeau and Randle seem like they're not on the same page, and they seem like they've lost that confidence from last season. And I feel like those two definitely get the blame, but it starts with your free agents get the blame too. Kemba has sucked for the majority of the year. He gets blamed too. Fournier only plays good against Boston. He gets blamed too. RJ Barrett, he gets blamed for first part of the season because he wasn't playing good. He's starting to play good now, so that's a good sign. But for the most part, it's not just like, I know people are going to limit it to the star and the coach because that's how it goes, but it really is just goes down from the coach to the star to the role players. Like the Knicks as a whole just haven't played good.
Why sign Kemba Walker in the first place when you already had Derrick Rose playing well, and then you also had Emmanuel Quickly doing well off the bench?
That's a good question, and I'm gonna lean that to Joel. Joel, answer that.
I mean, I don't think we should have. I thought IQ should have been starting, and you bring Derrick Rose off the bench. That's what I would have done.
The Knicks needed a facilitator, so I understand that.
But Kemba's not a facilitator; he's a scorer.
Agreed, but he's at least a point guard, and at the same time, he was cheap. But he is old at this point in his career. I mean, Kemba Walker is not playing as well as D Rose, so I understand that. But at least Kemba Walker could facilitate a game a little bit more at that point, and when you take Derrick Rose out, it wasn't supposed to be this huge of a drop off that it inevitably ended up being, which I, in hindsight, 100% understand. Why would you bring in Kemba? But that's the reason, at least I think. You got him for a good price. You didn't have to pay top dollar for him. You got him on basically a vet minimum, and you needed a point guard.
But
I mean, another one on top of Derrick Rose.
Kemba is a scoring guard, and
what I'm looking at first guard. Emmanuel Quickly had a good season last year. I think. I mean, he had some pretty good games. I think why not double down and say, you know what, we think this guy could be a good point guard. He showed us a lot, last year. why not make him the starter and let Derrick Rose come off the bench? Because to your point, Derrick Rose may not be as much of a facilitator. He might be more of a scorer. Cool. Let him be your bucket off the bench. We're not banking on Emmanuel quickly to come out here and get us 20 on any given night. Let him throw up his 5 or 6 floaters and let him try to facilitate and get other people involved. And also, I just want to make sure I throw this out there. I blame RJ Barrett for being left-dexterous.
Oh, snap.
So you're not high on RJ Barrett.
He can't go right. He's a grown man.
RJ Barrett is RJ Barrett, like have y'all when you lift weights and then like right when you get done working out, you look at yourself in the mirror and you feel more confident about yourself?
Wow.
That's basically what RJ Barrett, in my opinion, has done. He's like just super confident. He works on his body. He thinks that he can just get to he can just be a superstar, putting his head down, going to the rim every night. Like he's left-dexterous. He does not own a right hand, and he's got more than enough money to pay for one.
I've been telling
his
you that
right hand
years,
has gotten better though.
But the fact is, why are you a top 3 pick in the NBA draft without a right hand?
He had a great season at Duke. He had a historic freshman season.
You trying to ignore the question? Answer the question. He has no right hand.
Listen, I'm not the biggest RJ guy.
You shouldn't be.
Well, what are you about to say, huh?
You're a liar.
Oh, okay. No, I thought Drew said something. I thought Drew. Okay, my bad. Okay. So on Twitter, because I had this take the other day. Not the other day. It was a month ago. It was a month ago, right? I used to be an RJ believer, and I was like, you know what? I'm not anymore, because in year 3, I haven't seen enough consistent improvement. He's an inconsistent player. And I got killed on Knicks Twitter for this. I was like, I think his ceiling is like a Harrison Barnes type of player.
I don't know if he could be as good as Harrison Barnes.
Oh my God!
Wow,
you serious?
I almost just spit up my water. I
was like, serious?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. People disrespect how good Harrison Barnes actually was. I mean, are you saying that RJ Barrett? Well, let me ask you this. Is RJ Barrett a second option, third option? Where are you putting him at?
At this point in time, he's not a top 3 option.
Okay, Harrison Barnes was a top 3 option when they won the championship.
Nah, he was 4th behind Dre, Clay, and Steph.
Draymond is not an option for the offense at any point in his career.
That's cap.
Facilitating,
that's cap.
He's facilitated, and he's gotten his shots based on ball movement, other people being spaced out, and he gets those wide open shots.
Okay.
But Harrison Barnes has had options as in, we gonna have some sets, we gonna put it on the wing, go get us one. Not we need you to score 20 or 30, but we need you to score in order for us to win. That's what I mean by an option. Draymond Green, throughout his career with Golden State, has not been somebody who needed to score 25 points a night in order to win. He just needed to hit 1 or 2 wide open threes just to make people respect him, and so the offense can continue to flow.
You make an excellent point, and I'll rebuttal it by saying this. That was my knock on RJ, is that I don't know what his role in the NBA is, right? Because he can't be a 3-and-D player because he can't shoot.
Right.
Is he an elite defender? Is he a great defender? He's not. And the only thing he can really do is finish and drive to the basket. And right now, that's really not in demand in the NBA. So where does he fit? What's his role? That's why, for me, Harrison Barnes was the first name that came up to me. Not in terms of like similar play styles, but just like career trajectory. And a lot of people killed me for that take because they view Harrison Barnes, I guess, as mid. But Harrison Barnes and Golden State won a championship. As soon as he was the first option in Dallas, he averaged 19, 20 points per game. He's always been, he's a great role player. You can fit him into most teams in the NBA. He can have a defined role. With RJ, he doesn't have a defined role. And with Randle struggling right now, a lot of Knicks fans want to just give RJ the keys and, let's go where RJ takes us. That's going to take us to the lottery and getting a Jabari Smith or Paolo Banchero or Chet Holmgren. Like, the Knicks are a superstar young talent away from really taking that next step. I don't think Julius fits well next to other stars, which is why I didn't want to pay him big money. We didn't give him a max, so I was cool with it. It was whatever. But ultimately, the Knicks right now, being bad might not be the worst thing because we need a young, talented player that can develop. And Knicks fans are hoping it's Cam Reddish now. I mean, Cam Reddish, he's...
You mean Kevin Knox?
Yeah, basically.
Cam Reddish has all the talent in the world. He just has to wake up one day and say, you know what? I'm actually good at basketball. If he ever does that, then he actually...
But it's based off opportunity. What are these coaches going to actually give him the ball? And
Draymond Green said this on JJ's podcast. He said all potential means is that you have improved shit. And that's a fact. Like, and there's a lot of players in the NBA right now that have potential, like an RJ, because when you say RJ Barrett can be a Harrison Barnes type of player, everybody goes crazy because they view RJ's potential, right, as a third overall pick. They don't view RJ as what he is now, and they never think that what he is now is probably what he's gonna be, you know? So that's the big thing.
The sick part of how I think is I never projected him to be anything.
It's crazy because Harrison Barnes was like,
he's violating. Why?
Wait. Why are we making
RJ.
it seem like Harrison Barnes was like 4 or 5 picks after RJ Barrett though? He was like a top.
He was a 7th pick. No, he was a 7th pick.
Yeah,
He was Harrison. He's a good ball player.
That's what I'm saying. He was projected to be pretty high. So I don't.
Harrison Barnes was projected to be high, but the thing that I'm saying is you have to look at how these guys play. When you look at Harrison Barnes and what draft pick was he? You say he was 7?
7th, yeah.
Okay. During that time, Harrison Barnes, 6'8", about 6'8", good size, could defend, had a mid-range jump shot, had a 3-ball, go left, go right. Complete.
Didn't need the ball either.
Right. Complete player who could, at the very least, be somebody who plays off of the ball and is somebody who can give you some numbers. When you look at RJ Barrett, what I saw watching him at Duke is this. This guy is extremely confident. He's going to jack up shots and get 20 or 30. He can't really shoot that much, and he can't go right. So if he's not in a situation where he has the entire team built around him and he's allowed to do whatever he wants, how good is he really going to be? And so now we're looking at him with the New York Knicks where he wasn't really given the opportunity to be that guy from the jump. You have Julius Randle, who played a whole lot better than people expected. So now we're looking at RJ Barrett having to play a role. Now that's where skill comes in play, skill and IQ. What is RJ Barrett going to be? This is how I was thinking at Duke. On the other side, when I look at Cam Reddish, I say this guy is the third option on the team, and he looks like he doesn't want to play basketball every day, but yet and still, he is coming in here and getting 11, 12 points a night, and I've watched him in high school walk in and get 50 balls. So I am more willing to believe that if Cam Reddish had the opportunity that RJ Barrett had, which is still not a opportunity where everything is built around him, he probably would produce more than RJ Barrett would right now. Because he can still shoot, pass, and dribble. He does lock up low key. He's 6'8" to 6'9". You know, he just needs a little bit more of an opportunity. He's playing next to Trae Young. Trae Young is the guy. Nobody's mad at that. You got John Collins, who's going to be in there doing his thing. You have Bogdanovich, and you have Herter,
excuse me.
Yeah, who, you know, you have a lot of other guys out there who, one, can score, two, the offense is more suited for them, and they're just more confident in their game. So Cam Reddish is going to take that back seat. So that's my thinking. But I never looked at RJ Barrett and said to myself, like,
we got the same thinking. We here.
This one's the guy.
As much as I hope RJ pans out, I will say this. It is disappointing where he is right now, and I've mentioned this before. You look at the 2019 draft class, the players who that were picked after him. I'm not talking about John Zion. I mean, Darius Garland is far better. Tyler Hero is far better. DeAndre Hunter has a role. I would say they're around the same, but, you know, he has a defined role. Jordan Poole now is better. Like, Jordan Poole has developed into a better player, nice. And I think I'm forgetting a couple players. I think I may be forgetting a couple players, but if the Knicks had a Darius Garland or if they had a Tyler Hero, I have no doubt in my mind right now Tyler Hero is scoring 23 a game with the Knicks. No doubt in my mind. No doubt. Darius Garland is doing with the Knicks what he's doing in Cleveland. It'd be a perfect pick and roll duo with Julius Randle. So that's where
he's averaging 22 right now with the Heat, something around that. It's like, imagine
the bench,
you actually gave him number one touches. Maybe you're right. Maybe he even touches that 24, 25. Who knows?
He probably looks more like D Book right now. Like, just going crazy every single night. So,
I know what you mean.
It is disappointing with RJ, but back to the original question, what do you think is the main problem with the Knicks right now?
Listen, with all due respect to your Knicks, Julius Randle shooting a career low from the field outside of his rookie season, which doesn't even count because he only played one game the year after he gets this enormous contract. It's just one of those situations where you look at, it's a contract year. He's going all balls to the wall to get his money, understands where he's playing, understands the totality of playing in Madison Square Garden, and he plays up to the task until playoff time. And playoff times where we started to see the Randle that we're seeing basically all this season. So Thibodeau gets a little bit of blame, but I look more to Julius Randle because there was a lot of expectations on his name going into this year. You were expecting Julius Randle to be the best defensive player on your team, the guy who was shooting almost 40% from three, the guy who from the field was shooting almost 50% from the field. You are getting none of that. You're getting it minus 10% from both. It's just hard to look at last season and see that Julius Randle and think he's going to be drastically worse, because you can regress from a season to season where you play better one year than the next. That's basketball.
Great players don't.
100%. Great players do not fall off a cliff. And that's what Julius Randle's done. And he's put the Knicks in a peculiar situation where now they were expecting to be a playoff or a play-in team, where last year they were the 4th seed. And now this year they're scrambling to be a play-in team and potentially could be a lottery team.
So Riv, you kind of said you think it's Tibbs.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. I think Tibbs, it's really tough because Tibbs, he's very stubborn, like I said. So his lineups are and he puts a lot on Julius Randle. Last year Julius Randle showed you he was their best playmaker, one of their best defenders, their best scorer, damn near their best rebounders. That's four main things on the basketball court. So this year he came in, there's a lot of expectations, like Drew said, and Tibbs just put a lot on him. He didn't, in the beginning of the year, he didn't let RJ operate. As much as we want to say about RJ, you got to give him some opportunity. He's on your team. He's the 3rd pick in the draft. You got to be Kemba. Kemba didn't get, I feel like Kemba didn't get a lot of opportunity. Fournier didn't get a lot of opportunities. A lot of the opportunities was given when Randle had the ball. He was on the court. You get these guys, and you have to let it's kind of like. So I bring it back to Golden State, and because I bring it back to Golden State is because they run plays for Otto Porter, those type of guys. Like they run plays for Wiggins, they run plays for Poole. Like it doesn't matter how low on the totem pole you are on the team. Your coach, if he trusts you, he's gonna run some plays for you. So I feel like with Tibbs, he's so stubborn, and he did the same thing in Chicago. He ran D Rose down like that. Luol Deng led the league in minutes like 3 years in a row. Joakim Noah, he put a lot on his star players, and you guys have. It's different with you guys because you guys have less star players at the top, but you guys have a lot of depth. So I'm confused as to why he's not giving these other guys opportunities quickly. His minutes are up and down. Sometimes he plays 25, sometimes he plays 10. So I'll put a lot of the blame on Tibbs too, but Randle gets some blame too, of course.
So HP, you think that RJ will never live up to his Star J Barrett nickname?
I didn't even know that he had that nickname. That's sick.
Well made it up.
Oh, that's Joel. You're sick. That's what I realized. You're a sick dude. And look, I like those, but you're a different type of sick. All right, like that's nasty. Real talk.
Yo. Listen, as much as I'm not the hugest RJ fan, you got to admit, Star J is a tough name.
Oh, look, it's tough when you tough.
That's true.
It's tough when you tough.
When you're that dude, it sounds better. Facts.
And look,
that's facts.
Playoff P sounded incredible until I saw Playoff P sounded incredible.
Yo, chill off, my boy. Playoff P though, please.
Who?
Please. Chill
Way
off
off P. Way off P. That's what he meant.
You sick too. Now that I know you like playoff P, you sick too. You sick too, bro.
I prefer a PG-13. That's the guy I prefer. But
Oh look, that was the coolest name ever. That's by far the coolest name ever since I heard of Black Mamba. Coolest name ever. PG-13. Can't make it up.